mental health in sport is actually the big elephant in the room that we need to address. And thank God we have one of our best friend, a professional, sports professional, but also a four-time Olympic participant. We're actually going to give us his expertise, Mr. Envela, Gustavo Envela. You know, I can say everything about you, but man, your expertise is needed at this very moment. And you know what's going on right now. I don't know if you've been watching the all the Olympics.
Yeah,
You've
I've
been
watched
you've
it.
been
Yeah,
you've been there yourself. You know the pressure that these people, these wonderful athletes go through. So the fact of the matter is we're seeing too much now. First that was the first time you were on a show. Remember, we were talking about that young sister that you admire.
Shakira
That
Richardson.
absolutely. At one point, she had to take some weed, some marijuana,
Mhm.
just to deal with the pressure of losing our mom, and then go on to perform at the highest level.
Mhm.
Now, recently you've seen the documentary on the TV with Naomi Osaka, talking about how pressure have to push her to the corner, and she have to take some decision in terms of dealing with that pressure. And now, recently, man, listen, you know what I'm gonna do?
Yeah,
Let me just play some clip from what's going on from the news, and then we can go and
great.
I really want. This is a time we need you, sir. So let me play this clip, and then we'll come back and discuss about this.
Okay.
Start in Olympic gymnastics continues as star Simone Biles suddenly exited the women's team final. Her departure came after she briefly left the competition floor following a botched showing in her first event, the vault. Gymnastics officials said it was health related, but were not any more specific. In a statement to People and other outlets, USA Gymnastics added that Biles would be assessed daily to determine if she could be cleared for future competitions. The reigning Olympic all-around champion and five-time medalist left the floor with the team's medical trainer following her routine. During the routine, she bailed on her planned Aminar vault for an easier 1.5 twist and posted a 13.766, which is the lowest score of her Olympics career in an event she has previously dominated. Soon after leaving, Biles returned to the floor before the U.S. competed on uneven bars. She was seen hugging her teammates, then remained on the side dressed in her white Team USA warm-up gear. Reserve Jordan Childs replaced her. On Monday, Biles reflected on Team USA's uncharacteristically shaky preliminary competition the day before, writing in part on Instagram that she felt like she has the weight of the world on her shoulders sometimes. And
I've said, you know what I'm talking about. You
Definitely.
heard those words before, and there's nobody at this moment that can really understand the situation that Mr. Gustavo Envela. Sir, you're taking on this situation.
Well, first of all, Malik, I want to thank you for addressing an issue that has long been overlooked, not only among athletes, but particularly among athletes of color. Mental health with regard to athletes is something that has been an issue from the time of Tommy Smith and Juan Carlos and their stance politically. But as it relates to contemporary issues, I want to let Simone Biles know and Naomi Osaka know and Shakira Richardson know that it's okay to be imperfect. The media has a almost a sinister habit of promoting people, setting them up in almost trial balloons, wanting to succeed, but realizing that these are people who have thoughts, emotions, demands, pressures that the average person, let alone someone in their 20s, would have a difficult time handling. My sense is that between all of the events surrounding U.S. gymnastics, you heard about Dr. Nasser and some of the events involving his abuse of young women. I think that coupled with the delay of the Olympic Games itself, with COVID running rampant and people wondering, is it worth giving up their lives? I just think that Miss Biles, at this very specific period in time, just she wasn't at her best. People fail to realize that just to make the Olympic team for the U.S. is almost a mini Olympics in and of itself. Think of all the buildup, right? It's almost as if you're studying to take a organic chemistry exam, of which I did terribly in college. You're studying, you're told that the final is going to be on a Friday, but the professor decides to say, you know what, we're going to do it a week later. Think of all the stuff that you could have done. That's what's happened to all of these athletes. And so as someone who went through a depression himself, I went through depression myself at Stanford my freshman year. And I was injured. I had high expectations. I was recruited by several colleges, but it was one of these things where you didn't want to talk about it. And so I want to applaud these young women, and I call upon the International Olympic Committee, the United States Olympic Committee, the mental health community, to make sure that these young women and men, from the days of Colin Kaepernick to now, they need the support of these entities and not to be used as simply as pawns in the next go around. I am concerned, and I hope that the Olympic officials are equally concerned.
Listen, sir, like I told you before, at this moment, you're one of these men on earth that we actually need to talk to, because you've been there 4 times. And last time you were on a show, we spoke about the mental preparation. I was insisting on that mental preparation, and it is incredible to see that those young men and women, and we're probably going to address the portion where it is also a particular issues in our community, African American community in this country, not to talk about this issue, the taboo around this issue. We're going to get into that, but please. Can you please, remind everybody that these athletes, regardless their performance or performances, actually are still human beings. They're not superhuman. Am I right?
They're not superhuman. As a matter of fact, I was at the grocery store the other day, Malik, and I'd be remiss. I'm not sure if you can see this, but I bought this Time magazine where they had Simone Biles on the cover. You know, it's amazing that a young lady who is tremendous, and she will go down as one of the greatest gymnasts in history. During this brief moment in time, she showed her humanity. I believe, in my humble opinion, that Simone Biles, Naomi Osaka, and all the other folks who are suffering in silence, by the way, have demonstrated to the world their humanity.
So when you say suffering in silence, what do you mean? Because some of them have been outspoken about this issue.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that. So just think of, people don't realize that the Olympics come once every 4 years. So during that 4-year cycle, you're pouring all of your energy into swimming, track and field, archery, boxing. It's that final test, and that test could last a few minutes. So as they say in track and field, you've trained a lifetime for the next 10 seconds. Think of that. A lifetime. And in that lifetime, there's been sacrifices, there's been jealousies, there's been injuries, there's been coaches. And for whatever reason, the universe, I think, aligned in the right way. I think that Simone Biles will be a great advocate for the mental health issue, just like Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps has been out there talking about some of his issues with regard to mental health, because people forget that athletes, once you've poured all that energy into one lane, be it the swimming lane or track and field lane, and you're done, what do you do with that talent? It's out there, right? Some people can transfer it into different arenas, and sometimes people use other, let's just say, substitutes to address these voids in their life. But I support athletes, and I hope that this will be an opportunity for serious reform at the international Olympic level, at the professional athletes level, in professional sports, and that minority men and women come forward and say, you know what, I went through this, and here's how I got through it. And in some cases, people don't get through it, Malik. People take their lives. People numb their pain. And the thing about depression, for what I remember, is that it's an all-encompassing thing. Fortunately, I had people there to help me 20-some years ago, or 30-some years ago. But it's one of these things where if you don't have a support network, It could have devastating results, which could alter the trajectory of her life. And I know that Simone will be fine. And I'm here to support Simone Biles in all of her endeavors. And she can always reach out to me. She has an advocate in Gustavo Envela in his desire to want to bring about awareness, mental health awareness at the highest levels. And even those who aren't at the highest levels, the college athletes, the high school athletes, and the pressures that parents and coaches put on young people. That is unfair. It's unjust. And those coaches who play those psychological games should not be in positions to influence these young people's lives.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. But it seems to me that you addressing this issue. This is not just the young versus old athletes, because we know younger people tend to be a little bit more affected by this phenomena. But this is not. There's no age into this. Anybody can be affected by this, by the mental problem, especially in the sport environment.
Yes, and it's true. They say that depression is kind of like the common cold of mental health. And there's different grades of it. They're different, and I'm not an expert, but I'm just speaking from my own personal experience, is that eventually I was able to kind of get myself out of it, work through it. And fortunately, at this period of my life, at the age of 53, I have a healthy work-life balance. And I'm happy to announce that that as we proceed towards the end of this cycle of the Olympic Games, that this will be an avenue for corporate sponsors, for the media, for coaches, for universities, and for national Olympic committees to really, really incorporate into their portfolio a safe space for athletes to say, "Hey, listen, at this time, I'm not even concerned about getting on the podium. I want to get on a couch and talk about some of the issues that have impacted me at whatever age." And I have a brother who's a psychiatrist, and I know that he's done some great things. And I think it's important to identify trauma, and whatever this trauma may be for some of these athletes, it sometimes surfaces years down the road. But I want to salute all of the athletes, all of the women of gymnastics USA, and also we have to compliment the Russians for winning the gold medal. But I hope that when
we'll come into that. We'll come into that, into the winnings, because one of the things that I wanted also to address is that definitely the fact that when you see the results, it looks like China is up there, and America is coming in second place when it comes to winning those gold medals. But just to kind of wrap it up on this mental issue situation, because I know and I know. Gustavo, and I call you Ghost affectionately. Yeah. Ghost or El Niño de Oro. Everybody knows that.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm trying to say here is that the reason why I want you and me to spend a little more time on this, because it's actually a real issue beyond sport.
Yes.
People, and especially in our community, are suffering in silence. You use that word, in silence. What it takes for us to really speak more about this, because in order for you to have that help you were talking about, you got to be able to talk about it. What can the community, everybody that or listen to you right now, what can people do in order to be more open, overt, to speak about this mental situation, and also taking out of their mind the fact that these athletes are just some kind of superhuman being?
Yeah, these are very real people with very real issues. I went through my depression in the mid '80s, and I can really say that I didn't really understand what I was going through. I just knew I didn't feel like I was all there. And fortunately, I had a network of advisors. I had Don Ray DeSantis, who was the academic advisor, Brooks Johnson, who was my coach. I've had mental health, and it was a lot of other athletes were also going through it. And I think when people don't have a problem with their knee, they don't have any problem going to see an orthopedic surgeon. When someone has a problem with their heart, they don't have a problem going to see a cardiologist. But for some reason, when someone has something going on with the chemistry in their brain, there is this negative stigma that, oh, I must be crazy. You can be treated just like anything else. And I think that the walls are coming down, but there's nothing weak about saying I need help. And I think that our community needs to embrace the fact that it's okay to not be okay. And so I hope that there will be hotlines out there that can address it, and that our community, and beginning in the churches need to be able to have open dialogue about this and know that they have an advocate in Gustavo Envela. If there's anything I can do to help, spread the word. It's okay not to be okay all of the time.
Absolutely. That's what I mean. Who can say better than that? Especially for somebody who been an athlete at that kind of level. I mean, you've been there 4 times, and being an Olympian participant is no joke.
No joke,
Mr. Envela. I cannot thank you enough, because we need this kind of a, when people talk about role model. It's not necessarily somebody with $1 million in their bank account. It's somebody like you, a regular American, that come and trying to do something to help the greater community. So let me ask you this: is something going on in American sport? Why is that? Even when you see a basketball, results, we were beaten by France.
Yeah.
And it's the American superpower when it comes to sport is going down. What is going on? Give me your view on that.
Yeah, I don't think it's really so much a question of American superpower going down as these other countries are saying that we can compete at the American level, at the level of the Americans. For so long, the Americans, whether it's a track and field or basketball, the dream team, people were being blown out by the Americans. And I think a lot of these foreign athletes who are now playing in the NBA, and some of these former NBA stars going over to Europe, are realizing that, hey, we can compete. In track and field or in sports, there's always a psychological component. And when we talked about earlier, but in this case, just sometimes the presence of seeing an American uniform was enough for athletes from other countries to shudder in fear. Well, those days are over. I think with the advent of the internet, better training methodologies, nutrition, people are realizing that if given the opportunity to compete, and compete fairly, because there's still people who then resort to performance-enhancing drugs, of which I never in my career ever took part in. I think that athletes nowadays are realizing that if I have the same set of skill sets, the same talent, the same opportunities, I can compete in any arena, whether it's in the athletic field, the academic arena, corporate America, or politics. And so I salute all of the athletes who are now part of the Olympic family, and I welcome them to this Olympic family of nations, of which I was so honored in 1984 to take part as a member of the Equatorial Guinean Olympic team. And to this day, I will forever be grateful to the country of Equatorial Guinea, its president and its National Olympic Committee, and the International Olympic Committee for affording me that life-changing experience. I have never been the same from the time I was a 16-year-old, and now I'm 53, going on 63, but I'm 53, having been able to say, you know what? I think I have a few pearls of wisdom, and I think that to whom much is given, much is required, and that we need to, as Olympians, reproduce reproducers.
Absolutely, I can agree more. Listen, I know you are a man of many skills, and you probably have many electronics on you. If you can turn some of them down so that there is no return of the echo to me. Mm-hmm. Listen, Gustavo, what I'm gonna do is to take a quick break.
Okay.
Because we need you here today. We need you because this is an emergency.
It's a pleasure, and any advice I can give, I'm here for you and the people.
I'm telling you, man. Listen, whatever come out of your mouth will be appreciated, much appreciated, because I know this is not we're not talking to some guy in the neighborhood. This is somebody we have been proven. Is still being proven on international stage. So let me take a quick break, and we come back. Let's continue to speak about their mental health issue, but also trying to dissect. You started very good, my brother, when you say, listen, people catching up. The world is getting all the same information now. Now, it's no surprise. Instead of putting pressure on our athletes, because they too, the fact that they didn't know that we represent the United States of America, which is a superpower, it is important to be also number one all the time. And that also can be the reason for some of them, feeling the way they feel.
Never
I
forget
don't know if
about
you,
David and Goliath. Never forget that. David versus Goliath.
absolutely. So that will be, coming up. We're gonna see also with trying to dissect that portion with my friend Gustavo Envela in a minute.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure, Malik.
Yeah.
Do you have a book you want to promote? You've come to the right place. Hi, my name is Malik Linzonzo, and I'm the CEO and founder of Global Affairs Network. Book marketing is a full-time challenge that successful authors are overcoming by using social media promotion. Study shows that an interview on social media will generate up to 15% of book sales. So come and take advantage of our social media connections on Facebook, YouTube, Venmo, Instagram, and many more. So please contact us today so we can schedule an interview for you. Thank you.
All right, we're back here with Mr. Gustavo Envela, El Nino de Oro. Listen,
I'm following your lead, my friend. You are the lead on the dance card.
I don't just call anybody El Nino de Oro. That's a lot of responsibility.
I have wide shoulders. I'm willing to shoulder that.
By the way, don't forget to say hello to your wife, Michelle.
I definitely will.
She's wonderful.
She has been tremendous, and she is a force majeure. And I'm so lucky that I married up.
Absolutely. Let's get back to business here. Before we went on the break, I was just mentioning the fact that there is the fact that you represent a superpower and the number one country on earth. Do you think that also is a source of pressure?
I think it's a source of pressure, but also a source of pride. When you think about it, and some people might call it American exceptionalism in other arenas, I just talk about people who have a skill set that's been determined and identified at a young age. There's some people who want to go into biochemistry, some people who want to go into sailing, and some people who want to go into sports. And in my case, I was fortunate enough to find track and field at a young age. I'm hoping that the next generation of athletes, through nutrition, through discipline and perseverance, will be able to tap into their potential and realizing that when all is said and done, the cheering will come to an end, the fans will go away, and you're going to be left with, what do I do with the next stage of my life? And there's so many opportunities, and I'm so glad and proud, Malik, that you're taking the time, and I'm encouraging your listeners to support you via Cash App, via WhatsApp. You need to have a platform in which these issues are not only discussed among the African American issues, but for all of humanity. And I'm stressing the importance of that. And I hope that people will realize that individuals like yourself are a known and needed quantity. And I salute you and will make myself available day or night for you.
Yeah, listen, my brother, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You heard it from the horse mouth himself. Somebody would know the importance of support and in anything we do in our community. If it brings value, I think we ought to promote and support the efforts. When I was watching that Netflix documentary on that young sister Osaka. It really breaks my heart to know that At one point she just have to back off. I'm gonna play another video here, and just put us back into champion or somebody who just get into the industry of football. You are an example of somebody who went through those issues. So I mean, and I was playing this just to show that nobody's immune to this.
Oh,
Nobody
definitely.
is
No
immune
one
to
is.
this. And
Athletes, politicians, mothers, kids. This is a pandemic. Like we've gone through the COVID-19, there is a pandemic of psychology and psychiatry that needs to be addressed, because if not, this will spread worse than COVID-19. Mark my words.
wow. I mean, listen, coming from you, my man, that's a little scary. That's a little scary.
Yeah, it's been around.
Do you mean that the more cases are coming up as athletes begin to speak about this issue? Do you think there will be more coming up?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is a pathway. We are going through a paradigm shift in athletics, whereby Black athletes are no longer used only for their skill set. As a Black athlete, I am tired of the corporate structure, the infrastructure taking advantage of young men and women for their own personal gain. I am tired of Black absence in the executive suites. I am fatigued when I see that there are talented Black men and women who should be in positions of decision-making authority. And I'm not talking about token positions, and I mean token in the most virulent sense. It is time for the talented 10th, as W. Du Bois said, there are more than 10% of African Americans who can do the jobs of others. And I believe that this is a time that you don't have to be a rapper, you don't have to be a professional athlete, you don't have to be a Stanford University graduate. You just have to be a human being who realizes that there is a pandemic that is going untreated and spreading like COVID-19. And it's time for America to wake up. As someone who loves America and also loves my native country of Equatorial Guinea, it is time for the neglect of African American athletes to come to an end. The days of the plantation owner taking over the skills of his property must come to an end. And we're speaking real now. We need to see what we can do to bridge that gap. We're losing too many athletes, mental health and otherwise. And I hope that those, whether it's Roger Goodell, whether it's the head of the International Olympic Committee, whether it's the NBA, please open up the floodgates to have NBA coaches, professional coaches in sports, decision makers. No one feels more comfortable when they can walk into a room and they see someone that looks like them. Not that there's a common ground, that everyone has an equal understanding, but at least there's a familiarity. If I told you how many times I've walked into meetings and I'm the only Black face, I don't have any kind of inferiority complex. I think that I have a pretty healthy view of myself. But that says to me that these folks who are in decision-making capacities feel that there's some type of intellectual capacity that they possess, and that is a lie. I know a lot of ignorant people from all walks of life and all shades, and I'm urging GAN viewers to write your congressman, and if necessary, boycott those sports where you believe that athletes' health are being sacrificed. This is not a game. This is a crisis, a 5-alarm fire that's been going on for a while, and it isn't remarkable that it is women who are leading the cause. Where are our men supporting the women? Our men need to have their backs. They need to protect them, and they need to say, we stand shoulder to shoulder. Come out of the woodwork, men. It's time to stand up and put your armor on and protect our vulnerable women.
The time is now. Listen, somebody will say I don't believe in God, but I believe in data. And me being a data analyst manager in the past, I can tell you that I don't believe in just words. Let me just read you something very quick, and just to because you said mental health and many more. that means that it's just not. It's not only mental health. There's so many issues that are going on that need to be addressed. Here's what the data shows. It said among the professional athletes, data shows that up to 35. Now hear me, boy. 35 of elite athletes suffer from a mental health crisis, which may manifest as stress, eating disorder, burnout, or depression or anxiety. So you are absolutely right. We have to really meticulously look at this problem and say, you know what, the time is now. We have to address this just like we are addressing the issue of opioid, the crisis, the clinical crisis of opioid. This is a serious. Most of our young people just go silently, and we are losing them. This is a time where we have to put pressure on our elected official to seriously, starting this conversation on a national.
And what I appreciate about you, Malik, is your realness. But let's get real. The opioid crisis was an entity that affected white communities.
Yeah.
Where were people when they had the crack epidemic? They were throwing people in jail. Now people who have opioid can go to therapy, they can go to rehab institutions. There is a disequilibrium and an asymmetry as to addiction, which we know is an all-encompassing thing. So I call upon Joe Biden, the president of the United States, to declare war.
And Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris.
Absolutely.
To declare war on mental health and its neglect among the African American community, but all communities. I call upon the President of the United States and his allies. This is not a time to go about. The President of the United States' own son, Hunter Biden, had an issue. Not everyone has access to their father being the President of the United States. You have people from Salem, Oregon, from Port-Gentil to Malabo who go untreated. And so I'm asking that the global health community, the World Health Organization, make mental health public, not enemy number one, but addressing its neglect, because we are going to create and perpetuate a generation of people who go untreated and suffer the stigma, the unnecessary stigma of mental health, unnecessary suffering, which is transgenerational. Let's break that transgenerational curse today.
Now, my dear friend and brother, in 2018, when I was running for office, and you being one of my strongest supporters, and
always,
part of my struggle was to make sure that this issue of mental health be on the table. And if God will, if I run again, I believe I will be one of the front fighter on this issue. So I really appreciate your past support, and you keep on supporting me on this work of bringing this issue to light. And
I will. You have my word. And can you, if I could just maybe say, I want to also wish all the best to the people of the Republic of Equatorial Guinea who are undergoing their own psychological trauma right now. And
you know what? You don't have to rush it on that, my brother. When you're on the show, I'm gonna touch base on the people back home. We cannot. You're not gonna leave this show without talking about.
I appreciate that.
You know me. I'll go back and forth.
Equal time, right? Equal time.
Absolutely. Listen, this particular issue is not just national; it's international. Most people, this mental health is not just in sport. We see some of these people are affected, even from their, family. There's a lot of stuff going on. So what we're doing right here is to make sure that, for now on, the government, and I'm glad that you called on the president.
I'll call upon again, Kamala Harris and President Biden. Please afford funding to help athletes of all shapes, sizes, and colors to address this issue. We don't want to lose a single soul. These are cries coming out. These are people who are saying we're hurting. Think of all the people who don't have the platform of a Naomi Campbell, a Miss Rich, I mean, of Naomi Campbell, of a Naomi Osaka, of Simone Biles and Sha'Carri Richardson. They had the world stage. Think of all the people around the world who don't. So please, I say with great humility, but unyielding passion, this is a cancer and a spreading malignant cancer that, if not addressed, will have collateral damage. We've said this before. I am not a man of words. I'm a man of action. And I hope that President Biden and his staff of very talented people will put this on the table, not in a ancillary way, once the Olympics go away, because people will still be suffering. And I'm more concerned about the athletes once they come back from the Olympics. Once they're done, that's when the real issue is going to happen. They've been training, and the games are done. What do they do?
I believe you agree with me that we're not just talking about athletes, because we know our best men on the field that go and protect this freedom that we enjoy every day. You know, the military families, they also go through this situation. So we're not just talking about athletes. Mental health is affect everybody, especially those people who always fight for our freedom.
I support the military, and I support the fact that they should have more attention given to these men and women, these brave men and women with great honor and nobility, serve with integrity, distinction, and often without recognition in all, whether publicly or privately. And I salute them, and I want funding to be made available to address these issues, because these people have done things that you and I could only dream about.
Absolutely. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to change gears. We're going to go a little bit on the international stage. We're going to talk about a little bit about, your country, Equatorial Guinea, and also some of the activity you've been doing. Probably we're also going to talk about Gabon, which is the country I'm from. There's a lot of things going on that I would like also to address. So we're going to take this very, this quick break, and when we come back, let Mr. Envela, El Niño de Oro,
and my brother. You're my brother,
and my partner, All right, my friend. Let's get to this break and come back and continue to dissect on this important.
It's good that we can laugh about these serious issues, because they are very serious.
Absolutely. Right. So you're back again on Global Affairs Network, which is GAN TV in short. You know what? GAN TV is sponsored by Global Affairs Network, LLC. We have here with us the one and only Mr. Gustavo Envela. Before we took this quick break, the quick break, I was talking about us going on the international stage. You are an Equatorial Guinea citizen. You grew up here in the United States. You went to school here. You're a Stanford alumni. Here's what I'm trying to tell you. Why is it so important to you as a global citizen? But first, somebody who actually were born in Equatorial Guinea. What is so important for you to speak to our public officials here in the United States and to pay attention to what's going on in Equatorial Guinea?
I think first and foremost, African lives matter. The lives of African men, the lives of African women, the lives of African children matter. Those who live here in the United States of America can trace their roots back to parts of Africa. I hope that my generation and the generation of my two daughters, ages 21 and 27, will realize that we're at an inflection point. African dictators, those who believe they can cling on to power, are living in an alternate universe driven by alternate facts. I want the people of Equatorial Guinea and Gabon and the African continent to rest assured when they go to bed tonight that they have warriors like Malik, like myself, and many people that you will never ever hear of or know of their existence, who are bringing change to the African continent one by one. I stand here today, the son of Gustavo Envela Sr. and the son of Victoria Envela from Corisco in Gabon, but I stand here as a complete man, a man raised in the United States, but whose heart is in Africa. So I want it to be very well known that the health, the education, the socioeconomic prosperity, the educational opportunities, the ability to dig deep into your reservoir of capacity matters just as much in Libreville as it does in Malabo, as it does in Los Angeles, as it does in Soweto, as it does in Lausanne. And I'm tired of the dark continent of Africa with all of its negative connotations being put in the back of the bus. We are now in the front of the bus, and as far as I'm concerned, we are driving this bus.
So I agree with you. We're driving this bus. I don't know if we have enough guys to drive this bus or not, but basically, we are talking about America. I think historically, if there's a nation, if there's a continent, if there's a place where America have to pay attention and continue to work as it's done in the past, hands in hands, I believe it's the continent of Africa, knowing the contribution that we have done, through our people. We know the history. I don't want to go back into details. Everybody knows what the contribution of our African people in America. So sometimes it just goes without saying that the silence on some of the issues, human rights issues, the help economically, helping Africa in general, usually is a topic that most of our people, elected officials, don't really, give enough attention, because we can look when you see a relationship that America has with other countries. We can see how much attention America give, and when you see Africa, most countries that really, have their people coming in this country as a slave, work for free for hundreds of years, not to say for 400 years, and then in return, it looks like we always coming as beggars, as Mr. Louis Farrakhan would say. We always come on the national or international stage as beggars, knowing that the world actually, owes something to us. And we're not coming here as beggars. We want to deal with America or even Europe, for God's sake, as partners or people that know that in the past they have benefited from us. Yeah. So let just work on equal fitting and footing, and then do business.
I agree.
Like men.
There is no need for Africans to beg for crumbs. We can sit at the table, we can have our recipes, and we can eat the whole cake to the point to where we pass out because we've overeaten. I am tired of African leaders believing that they are the only one after 20, 30, 40 years, that they're the only ones who have power. Most of these guys, to be honest, probably have nominal education. And I'm not talking about Stanford education. Stanford is a great education, but I'm just talking about life experiences. And so I hope that Gabon and Equatorial Guinea and those people will realize that help is on the way, change is coming, and that there's nothing that can be done. Nothing can be done to stop it. The history has a way of repeating itself.
I want you to repeat that again, my friend.
Change is coming, and change has already arrived. And so I call upon the good people of Libreville, the good people of Port-Gentil, the good people of Malabo, the good people of Bata. Be ye not afraid, because help is on the way.
It's on the way.
It's coming.
My friend Gustavo Envela. Listen, my brother, it's pleasure. It's always a good pleasure to speak with you. You inspire the entire generation of people to believe that change is possible. It's really possible. and yourself. You never been somebody who was scared of anything. As a matter of fact, if you were able to go and represent your country 4 times as an Olympian participant, it means everything is possible. You can do everything.
You
Okay,
can, and you can do it even from the United States. And I want to thank the United States for affording my family the opportunity. But I'm looking forward to returning and going back to Africa.
Okay, that's a message that is clear, crystal clear. So,
We're
my
coming.
friend, we are coming and quick.
Yes. Quick
All right, so
reaction
my
force,
friend,
I hear.
listen. I'm gonna give you the last few minutes to make a statement because I know you probably already said enough. Just give you this few minutes to give your the last words, so that we can go about our business. I know you have to take care of your business over there, and
Yes.
I'm busy right here with
You are.
wife and kids.
Yes. So
So
if I could, I want to first of all thank you, Malik. I want to thank what you're doing. You will always have a trusted partner and friend in me, and those who work with me, not for me, work with me. So I want to, in conclusion, if I may be so forthright, and I'll try not to get emotional.
take your time, brother. Take your time. Oh, God is
The
good.
suffering that the people of the Republic of Equatorial Guinea is coming to an end. Teodoro Obiang, you are out in Mongomo right now planning a bloodbath out of pure fear. I want you to hear my voice. Natokandi kalaka kombenawajepi. I want everyone to realize that the Republic of Equatorial Guinea's dictator wants to harm innocent people. Should he be successful, and through all the back channel communications that I've had at the highest levels of this government and other governments, blood will be on your hands. This is like a Rwanda before the Rwanda. And so I'm calling upon President Biden. I'm calling upon Boris Johnson. I'm calling upon Angela Merkel, Mr. Sarkozy. I'm calling upon the leaders of Africa, even the failed states that they've led, to come together and stop this nonsense. Stop this madness. We have so much talent. And the men and women with whom we are already on the shores of Equatorial Guinea are going to make sure. I want it to be very well known that if anyone in the Republic of Equatorial Guinea or neighboring countries is injured by Tito Obiang, that the International Criminal Court, the United Nations, and even the African Union, which is partners in this dictatorship, will have their day of reckoning and accountability. And I call upon all Africans who can hear this, please rally for us. We need your help. No man is an island, not even the island of Haiti, not even the island of Madagascar, not even the island of Cuba, and for dang sure, not even the island of Malabo is immune. Change is coming, and I hope that the people of Equatorial Guinea will allow me and my team to be the first democratically elected president of the Republic of Equatorial Guinea, and I promise not to fail you. I need your help. Africa needs your help. The United States of America needs your help. And Malik needs your help. Make sure you support him.
Absolutely, my brother, and a partner in crime. Listen, it's always passion. And within that passion is truth and power. The power of your words, my brother, it will never will never be forgotten. And I appreciate your fight for your people. Every one of us have to do the same. We're not here just to enjoy life. Our responsibility is also is to fight for others. So, I believe we have a
Thank
great
you.
show today. You're being an expert in that particular area called sports. We're always gonna need you in this platform. You have to feel welcome anytime when you wanna say something.
Yeah.
Feel free to stop by. And I look forward to speak with you again, my brother.
And you know,
And
politics is a form of a full contact sport, and I'm ready,
absolutely.
willing, and able. I've got my armor on, and I'm ready to go to battle.
All right, we leave it right there. So, Mr. Gustavo Envela, aka Gus, aka El Niño de Oro. I'll talk to you next time, my brother.
I'll see
Take
you.
care of
I'll
yourself.
probably see you next time from
No,
Africa.
every you would be, this is gonna be your platform. Where you going? You didn't go nowhere, my
Oh
brother.
yeah, but I'm saying,
You-
but I'll be coming to you probably from a country in Africa where they speak Spanish and they like cassava, fufu, yams, and all that kind of stuff. And I'll be, as a matter of
Absolutely.
fact, I'll have something shipped to you. But thank you so much. Support Malik. All you out there, support Malik. Nothing in life is free. Nothing. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Reach into your